Audio check, 1, 2, 3, checking the audio. Audio check, 1, 2, 3, checking the audio. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Motive Racing YouTube channel. Tonight we are here for round 6 of 8 for the Clio Cup for season 14 here on Project Cars 2 on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 platforms. As you can see, tonight we're at Silverstone on the GP circuit. For some reason, I don't know why, and I've already apologised to the lads out on track for this, but for some reason I decided that it would be a good idea to do the Grand Prix circuit for the Clios. I think it might have been a bit of an oversight by me. Potentially I think I had planned to change it and then didn't, so ultimately we got this far and this is what we're doing. This is, you know, it's pretty set in stone now. There's not really any going back. We can't really sort of backtrack at this point, so it is what it is, quite literally, and this is what we've got in front of us right now. But should be an interesting night. It's a very long circuit, so I reckon that the gaps will be quite big in terms of the lap times, but hopefully we'll see some good exciting racing. Lots of straights, so slipstream will be key, and obviously we know in the Clios that keeping it in the toe can often be instrumental to being able to achieve a good result. So that's going to be, I think, a big one tonight. We've got Jazzman in the comments saying Andy, with a few little cheeky little faces there in the comments. Hello Jazzman, welcome back to you. Good to see Jazzman as always. He is our 4-time champion, or is it 5? I can't remember. He's won quite a few championships on ACC here at Motive, on the PlayStation 5 and a couple on the PS4 as well. The accolade that always springs to mind to me is that he's a 2-time champion of the GT3 Championship on the PS5 on a Sunday, and obviously this season he's taken a sabbaticals from sim racing this season, as his friend Tynus has currently taken 5 wins from 5 on a Sunday so far this season and is absolutely running away with the championship. But Jazzman there reminded me in the comments he's a 5-time champion that he is here at Motive on ACC. So yeah, he's been there, done it, he knows the score, he knows what to do, and he knows what he's doing out on track. So yeah, Jazzman, they're chiming in on Project Cars 2. He used to play this game back in the day, as I think a lot of people did who were at Motive, as that is where it was born, that's where Motive came about. Really, Project Cars 2 is the roots, it's the grassroots that Motive Racing was built on, essentially. But nonetheless, we're here coming towards the end of this first practice session, and I want to remind everybody that this is only a practice. This has got nothing to do with the grid order for the race. It's just a little bit of an opportunity for the guys to get acclimatised to the circuit if they haven't had a chance to practice throughout the week, and basically know what they're doing when they get out on track. But yeah, we've got John Boy currently setting the fastest time on a 2 minute 20.5. He's 6 tenths clear of Ollie Marr, who sits in second place currently on a 2:21.1. But Ollie obviously is in a prime position tonight to take the championship lead, because he's tied with Mike for the championship lead. But obviously with Mike not being here tonight, it will mean that Ollie will go a long way clearing the championship. But the crucial thing this season, and this is something that I haven't really mentioned too much on the streams, but there is a drop round coming into play on Project Cars 2 for this season, not on ACC. It's only on Project Cars 2, and the reason for that is because the guys, I chat to the guys a lot on Project Cars 2. We agreed before the start of the season that we would be doing a drop round, because I myself play Project Cars 2, you know, I'm on the mic. It's a bit of a social sort of like event, you know, jumping on a couple of nights a week. Obviously in the off season, because during the season I don't have a chance to. But yeah, we sit around, we have a few races, we have a chat, and we discuss, you know, what to do with the leagues. So essentially it's like it's a big board meeting. When we jump on for little practice nights in the off season, it's usually an ongoing board meeting. You know, we all discuss what we want to do with the leagues and what people would rather see. And we came to the conclusion that a drop round would be good, considering that last season a few drivers dropped out of the Touring Car Championship finale because of the fact that they weren't able to race in one of the rounds, so it really cost them a huge amount of points. So yeah, it's not ideal when something that out of your control intervenes and causes you to be unable to challenge for a championship that you've earned the right to be in contention for. Nonetheless, we've got Big Blue here coming out of the final corner. Can he put a good lap time on the board here? Currently P9 in this session as he comes up towards the line. No, that was not the best. He must have made a mistake there by the looks of it. Charlie coming over the line goes P3. Obviously it's a practice session, not a qualifying session, so this will not have any impact on what we see in terms of the actual grid order at the start of the first race of the night. We've got Jazzman in the comments. He's saying, I'll be back for final 2 races of Sunday's ACC League to end Tynus's run of wins. Tynus is going to be gutted if you do that, Jazzman. He's going to be absolutely heartbroken if you come in and rain on his parade. He's been completely destroying everybody so far this season. There's been a couple of races where he hasn't had it all his own way. Ludo's been keeping him on his toes at times. There's been a couple of people who've had chances to end his run, but he's been so consistent. He just hardly ever makes mistakes, and without somebody like you keeping him under that pressure, I think he's found it far too easy this season, let's be honest. But I'm looking forward to seeing your rivalry rekindled for the final 2 rounds of this season, and hopefully from next season we'll see obviously an improved Tynus with a bit of confidence, obviously with what's looking like it will be a championship under his belt, and also yourself returning after a little bit of a layoff. You might be a bit rusty as well, so it could be a really exciting matchup between the two of you now, with him obviously having improved a little bit and yourself not having had the track time recently. So yeah, looking forward to seeing that. But we're coming towards the end of the practice right now as John Boy there bins it into the wall coming into the pits, and I tell you what, if he had reversed into the pit lane there, that would have been catastrophic for him, because he would have been disqualified from the session. But he's coming in nonetheless, and we've got Olimar coming into Stowe corner at the moment. He's second in this session. Can he improve and get himself onto the fastest time in practice here as he's coming through down towards Vale now? Also, I've got to read through the championship standings here coming into tonight. So currently leading the way is Mike, by virtue of having had more race wins than Ollie. He's sat on 420 points, tied on points with Ollie, who is second, also on 420, but obviously due to count back, not in that top position. John Boy sits third in the standings on 326 points with a drop round in hand, because he has missed 1 round this season, so that will play to his advantage in some way. Cobb sits 4th on 270, also with a drop round in play. But realistically, I don't think he's got a chance of being able to challenge for the championship. He's too far behind. 150 points, even with a drop round in his favour. It's probably not going to happen for him. 5th in the standings is Jay on 268 points, ahead of Nick Lavilla, who is 6th on 258 points. Only 10 points between those two. Smoky Devil in 7th on 256 points, 8 points clear of Aussie Albie, who is 8th on 248 points. Charlie Goff is in 9th on 236, with Parpooba Rex in 10th on 200 points. He's 10 points clear of Diabetic Lamb, who is 11th on 190 points. Then you've got Doris Steer in 12th on 108 points, and he is only 2 points ahead of Iceman, who's 13th on 106. Big Blue in 14th on 86 points, with Gary 15th on 66, Amaskill 16th on 64 points, and he's a few points clear of RJ Dell, who sits in 17th on 52 points. Mutts Nuts in 18th on 36, Totally Zero in 19th on 36, and Roll Detailer sits in 20th and last place in the standings on 16 points. Roll Detailer looking to try and gain a few points here this season, in his standings so far this season. Obviously racing as a reserve tonight. He's only raced in 1 round, and that's why he's sat at the foot of the table. Just want to make that point very loud and clear. But we are here tonight for round 6 of the Clio Cup here at Motive for season 14, and we're moments away from the start of this formation lap, where they'll be getting into order based on the reverse of the championship standings coming into this round from the first 5 rounds of this season. So yeah, should be an interesting night. It always is with the reverse grid coming into play. Who's going to be taking home the plaudits tonight? Who's going to be the strongest off of the line? Who's going to be able to get those cold tyres? Because they are going to be very cold tyres. Obviously, it's a very long lap around Silverstone, and going around at formation lap speeds is not going to be easy at all to keep those temps up. So it's going to be about who can make the best start, who can be the most confident on the cold tyres and really take advantage in the early stages. But we're just coming through into turn 1. We're all getting into order now, so obviously the guys who are at the top of the standings, Ollie, John Boy, Cobb, those guys starting right near the back of the pack. Big Blue has a big opportunity here in the lead, but obviously he will have to surrender that lead to Revolt Detailer, because Revolt Detailer is actually meant to be the pole sitter here. So Revolt Detailer will move ahead of Big Blue in a few moments time. But yeah, should be an interesting night of racing here at Motive for the Clio Cup. As I said before, round 6 of an 8-round season here tonight. Something's going off in the background there. Somebody has ended up in the wall. I don't know what's going on there between John Boy and Ollie, but a bit of handbags there on the formation. That's not what we want to be seeing at all. So here we are then, guys, just coming out of the final corner here at Silverstone. We're moments away from the start of round 6 for the Clio Cup here for season 14, as we're now just coming through this final little section here. And once Revolt Detailer puts his foot to the floor, we should be underway. And here we go. We're all coming in towards Abbey for the first time, and looks like we're green flag here. So no changes so far as they come down. Village will be the first sort of main overtaking point, and we can see Big Blue's lost it onto the grass there. Gets sideways going into Village, and potentially might lose out here, as we can see Doris Steer looking to the inside of Parpooper coming into the loop. Parpooper going to get a bit sideways. Doris Steer down the inside. Looks like Charlie Goff might be able to capitalise on Parpooper's little mistake there as well. Parpooper trying to hold it around the outside of the loop here, as Charlie Goff keeping himself there. Parpooper stays just ahead of Charlie, and now Parpooper is trying to attack on Doris Steer here coming down the Wellington Straight. But it's Big Blue here who's somehow retaken the lead off of Revolt Detailer, coming in towards Brooklands here for the first time. Revolt Detailer thanks to the back there, and Big Blue there is round and goes off onto the runoff area. He's down to the back of the pack. Revolt Detailer there was he a little bit aggressive there, or was it Big Blue moving across? It was difficult to see from that angle, but it's currently Revolt Detailer who's lost out here to Parpooper. Parpooper now leading the race after losing a couple of places at the beginning of this lap. What carnage here. Unpredictable racing at the moment as Parpooper leads us coming out of Woodcote onto the old pit straight, as Charlie Goff looking to the inside here coming down towards Cops. Oh, and somebody's into the wall. Doris Steer there losing it in a straight line. What has happened? He looked like he had a bit of contact there, potentially with another driver. I don't know who it was, but Doris Steer down to P10 in the early stage of this race, and it's gone a horror show there for him. But Parpooper leading coming down towards Maggots and Beckett's here for the first time. As John Boy here looking to try and attack on the back of a Roll Detailer. Roll Detailer going a little bit deep, going through Maggots into Beckett's we go. John Boy's going to try and pick him off here around the outside of Chapel, and John Boy's got himself into 4th place there. So Revolt Detailer losing a few places. Now Cobb and Ollie right on the back of him as well here as they come down the hanger straight. Aussie in the background. Big Blue a few seconds off in the back of these guys. Doris Steer running in P10 at the back of the pack. But currently Charlie Goff looking all over the back of Parpooper here coming down towards Stowe Corner. And look at this battle here as Charlie Goff looking down the inside. Parpooper trying to keep it around the outside at the moment, but Charlie Goff's got a decent run here coming out of Stowe Corner, side by side down towards Vale we go. Charlie Goff looking around the outside. Can he get the grip? Can he go late on the brakes here? Parpooper back down the inside. Gets the cover, gets it sideways a little bit there. Goes into the side of Charlie. Charlie onto the grass there as they come through. the final corner, club corner, and Park Hooper there holding it around the outside and staying ahead of Charlie Goff for the time being, as Charlie Goff there was looking to try and attack, but can't do it at the moment. Ollie right behind Smokey with John Boy right there as well. These five separated by less than a second. Ozzy's right there with them as well as Cobb, so it's a 7-car battle for the lead right now. But Park Hooper is still just ahead of Charlie Goff, and Smokey here looking to the outside of Charlie in towards Village. But Charlie looking to the inside of Park Hooper now. And Charlie Goff's going to make a move for the lead of the race, and that's going to be job done there for Charlie. He's done that beautifully there, as Park Hooper's now going to watch out because he's got Smokey looking around his outside. Smokey Devil getting a great run here coming through the loop, and Smokey Devil moves through up into second place. So Park Hooper there losing a couple of places there in the space of a few hundred metres. John Boy and Ollie are now looking to try and knock Park Hooper while he's down as well, as they come down the Wellington Straight here for the third time in this race. On board with Ollie looking to the inside of John Boy. Has he got anywhere to go here? He's got not much space at all to work with. As he's looking down the inside of Park Hooper, contact there between Ollie and Park Hooper. Rubbing's racing between the two of them. Oh no! And the two of them go into the side of Smokey Devil. Smokey there, an innocent bystander. That was nothing to do with him. He's being dragged into somebody else's incident unnecessarily. That was none of his business what was going on there between those two. And he's just been absolutely sideswiped. It was not any fault of his own there whatsoever. And he's been, unfortunately, knocked down a few places as a result of that. Smokey Devil down to 9th place here in this race. It's Charlie leading as they come out of Cobb's corner. John Boy there in second ahead of Cobb, followed by Ozzy. And then you've got Ollie, who's now a second and a half off of the lead. But you have to say Ollie really the catalyst for that incident there between himself, Park Hooper and Smokey. And Smokey was the least guilty party in that, but he's the one who's suffered the most, down to 9th place in this race. And you've got to feel for him there, as John Boy's moved himself through up into the lead here on the exit of Chapel Curve, and he's moved ahead of Charlie Goff, as Cobb and Ozzy right there with Ollie as well on the back of them. And Cobb here now looking to the inside of Charlie, coming down towards Stowe Corner. Is this going to be job done here for Cobb? I think it is. He's going to get himself up into second place here as Cobb. So he's done a beautiful move there, as we can see in the background that Ozzy going a bit wide, and that's allowed Ollie down the inside up into 4th place, as Charlie now looking to the outside of Cobb here, coming down towards Vale. But Cobb's going to hold the inside line for the time being. John Boy a little bit deep there going into Vale, but gets it turned, as there's now we can see Cobb looking to the outside of John Boy, and Cobb is going to try and make this 3 wide here coming out of club corner. He's got ahead of Charlie. Now Cobb is going to look to try and get John Boy down a start finish straight here. Cobb with a little bit of straight line speed advantage, as he's going to ease past John Boy, but John Boy with the inside line. It's going to be close between these two coming into turn 1, I tell you that. John Boy has the inside line covered off and stays ahead for the time being. Goes a little bit wide there going through Abbey, but it's going to maintain the lead here coming in towards Village. Charlie now looking to the inside of Cobb, but he's too far back. Park Hooper attacking to the outside of Charlie here. Can Park Hooper get the move done here? No, he can't, because Charlie runs him out of road and keeps on to 3rd place for the time being. Park Hooper looking down the inside there, but to no avail so far. Ollie right on the back of them. Revolt detail in the background there with Big Blue, who's very wide onto the grass. Ozzy's right on him now as well. Smokey running just over 5 seconds off of the lead in 9th place. Doris Steer running in P10. It's not been the race for him so far, but John Boy and Cobb side by side are coming in towards Brooklands, and John Boy just comes him off. Oh, John Boy a bit of a lock up there, and that allows Cobb up the inside. Cobb did not need a second invitation, takes the lead of the race here coming into Luffield, and Cobb there seized on that absolutely beautifully there. And he says, thank you very much, John Boy. I'm going to make the most of every little thing that you leave on the table for me. And P1 is currently Cobb's here in this race, and we're still not even halfway through this first race of the night, but Cobb has done a great job there to get himself into the lead. And obviously he's a long way behind in the championship. I think he's out of the championship battle, but looking to try and take a few wins in the Clio Cup tonight. He's a very competitive driver in any series that we see him in. And Cobb once again leading the race right now. John Boy still on the back of him, coming down towards Maggots Beckett's. Charlie, Ollie, Park Hooper right there with a Revolt detailer as well. Big Blue and Ozzy, and Smokey there running in P9. A long way back to Doris Steer, who's completing the classification at the moment. P and P10. A bit of a depleted grid tonight. 4 or 5 of us couldn't make it tonight for this race, so we are very much down on numbers here. We're missing Nick the Villa, Diabetic Lamb, and yeah, quite a few people unable to make it this evening as well. So bit of an unfortunate night. Nick the Villa, Diabetic Lamb, Iceman, RJ Dale all couldn't be here tonight, and as such we've got not the usual turnout, but nonetheless we've got Cobb here looking to the outside of John Boy into Vale, and can he keep it around the outside of him? John Boy's going to cover that off, so John Boy might have made this move, but Cobb's going to keep himself on the inside here for Club, and he's going to get a decent exit out of Club as well. John Boy wide onto the curve a little bit, would have scrubbed with the speed there, as now Ollie moves through up into second place. So John Boy there making a bit of a mistake, loses 2 positions now now Ollie's going to look to the outside of Cobb here, coming down towards Abbey, but Cobb's going to have that inside line covered for the time being. Ollie's going to have to tuck in and sit in second place for now, as Charlie a little bit wide there coming out of Abbey, but keeping it together in front of Park Pooper. Park Pooper driving a crack of a race here on the fringe of the leaders there in P5. What a slipstream race this is turning out to be tonight. Revolt Detailer still in contention there in P6 with Big Blue. Aussie's not too far away, but he's dropping off a little bit at this point. Currently 4 seconds off of the lead as we begin lap 5 of the race. Smokey there keeping the gap to the leaders the same as it has been for the last few laps as well. But here come the leaders down the Wellington Straight here for the 5th time. Down towards Brooklands we go once again. It's Cobb from Ollie. John Boy now looking to the inside of Ollie, but he's far too back. He's way too far back to even think of a move. Oh, no, as Ollie's got it wrong there, tapping Cobb in the side a little bit. John Boy now looking to the outside of Cobb here in towards Luffield. But Cobb holding that inside line for the time being. But Ollie with a little bit of just a bit of impatience there as he locked up going into Brooklands, and we saw the same move happening actually a couple of laps ago from John Boy. John Boy tried the same move on Cobb and it went exactly the same way. But John Boy now to the inside of Cobb in towards Cobb's corner, way too far back there. You're not going to make the move into Cobb's. It's pretty much almost flat out in the Clios. But just waiting and watching and hoping he can potentially make a move here at some other point in this lap. But Cobb, John Boy, Charlie, Ollie, Park Pooper still your top 5. These 5 separated by 7/10 of a second right now. What a race this is in the first race of the night so far. As in the background, Big Blue there going a bit wide. Aussie still there. Smokey running in P8, 6 seconds off of the lead at this point in 8th place in this race. Revolt Detailer has had a moment here. What's happened to Revolt Detailer? He was running in the lead pack. He's now in 9th place, so something's happened to him obviously, and he's now got Thoris Deer closing on the back of him, so these two going to batter it out over 9th place, you feel. But John Boy now looking to the inside of Cobb in towards Stowe corner. He's going to make that move, surely he is going to make that move. John Boy there down the inside up into the lead, but Cobb's going to try and come back at him here coming down towards Vale as John Boy onto the curve a little bit. John Boy's now going to have to defend the inside line in the background. You can also see that Charlie and Ollie are side by side into Vale. Oh, and Cobb was going for a cut back there and he gets hit in the rear by Charlie Goff. Charlie did not see that one coming, was obviously caught out there by Cobb going for the cut back on John Boy, and Cobb is lost out to Big Blue, and Charlie very sportsmanlike there waiting for Cobb to get it going again. You've got to give credit to Charlie for waiting, but that was entirely his fault. And ultimately, he's been caught out by Cobb because Cobb was letting John Boy go down the inside and was going to go and switch back for a cutback coming through club corner. But Charlie behind did not see what Cobb was trying to do there and essentially went ploughing into the back of him. I remember a similar situation at Dubai with my teammate in a GT3 league. Almost exactly the same situation as that. It's really horrible when that happens, but it does happen, and it's sometimes quite difficult to predict when you're the car behind. But yeah, unfortunate moment there obviously for mainly Cobb, but also Charlie as well, because he's had to surrender a few positions here in the foreground. John Boy weaving around everywhere, trying to break the toe on Ollie. Those two still battling for the lead. Park Pooper there in 3rd ahead of Big Blue, followed by Cobb, Aussie and Charlie, who are still battling this out over 5th place as they come into Brooklands here for the 6th time in this race. They're a couple of seconds clear of Smokey at the moment, but a good little battle here going on for 4th place. They seem to be a little way off of Park Pooper, who I think is looking quite safe now in that podium place, unless he makes a mistake in the final sort of part of this race. But Big Blue here doing everything he can to keep out of Cobb. Cobb though's got a bit of a run here coming down the old pit straight. Is he going to fancy his chances here going into Cobb's corner? You can see now that Big Blue defending the inside line. Cobb looking to the outside now. Through Cobb's corner they go. Is Big Blue going to go a little bit deep? He does go a bit deep and goes a bit wide. Oh, what's happened here? No way! John Boy and Ollie have come together there on the exit of Cobb's corner. Ollie there, I think, was the one who was on his roof with huge damage. John Boy has been able to continue on, but he's missing his bonnet. What has happened there between John Boy and Ollie? That is unbelievable. And Ollie is, his damage is, I don't know, I can't work out whose damage is worse, to be honest. They've got different damage, but they both seem quite debilitating, and I think that they might have to consider coming into the pits here, because that damage is really quite awful. But John Boy down to P6 and Ollie down to 8th place. What on earth happened between the two leaders? Clearly some kind of incident there. And I was saying earlier on how Cobb's pretty much out of this championship battle. Maybe not. Maybe I was speaking too soon. Because with those two crashing into each other, they're going to lose a handful of points. Saying that, the lucky thing for John Boy and Ollie here is we've only got 10 people actually racing tonight. Obviously, if it was a 14 or 15 man lobby, then, you know, they would be losing quite a lot of points. But with the situation as it is, they're probably not going to lose a massive amount. but still, you know, it's points lost at this point, and Cobb running in second place now. Can he reel in Part Pooper? Part Pooper, the lucky beneficiary here of that incident between Ollie and John Boy, because now he leads this race. And can Part Pooper take a win here tonight? It's been a long time since Part Pooper's won a race. I can't think when he last won a race here at Motive, to be honest. I think it must have been in about, it would have been in either the first or second season back here, I think, when we started back on Project Cars 2, probably either season 10 or season 11, I would have thought. So yeah, it's been a while since we've seen Part Pooper take a win, but currently he's got just under 2 seconds over Cobb as they're coming down the Wellington Straight here for the 7th time in this race. You can see Big Blue in the background. There's Aussie, who's trying to defend from John Boy. John Boy actually has got Smokey down the middle here, so Smokey's going to make the move up into P5. And a Smokey upper position there as they come into Brooklands. There's Charlie in the background running in 7th place still. A few seconds clear of Ollie, who's well clear of Doris Steer running in P9 at this point. But yeah, very dramatic first race of the night here for the Clio Cup at Motive, round 6 of season 14. As we can see, you can see John Boy here looking around the outside of Aussie, so clearly the damage not affecting him too badly at this point. He's still racing with you know, drivers who are pretty solid pace. So Aussie down the inside of John Boy into Cop's corner. Obviously these two teammates, they don't want to be risking an incident like John Boy had with Ollie a couple of laps ago, but these two do appear to be battling at this point. In the meantime, Part Pooper is being closed in on by Cobb. Cobb is bringing that gap down quite quickly here. It was about 1.8 the last time, it's now 1.3, so Cobb is has definitely got the ascendancy in terms of pace, but Part Pooper with track position just needs to keep it cool here. If he can sort of average Cobb only gaining half a second a lap, then he'll be able to hold on and take the race victory here. He just needs to keep his composure at this point, and the race win will be his. Aussie just ahead of John Boy and Charlie still. John Boy looking to the inside of Aussie into Stowe corner. Is he going to be able to get this one done? As Aussie keeping it around the outside. John Boy going to get a bit of a run here down towards Vale. As John Boy now looking to the outside of Aussie here as they come side by side into the corner. John Boy with a bit of damage on the car, but nonetheless getting around him like he was not even there. And John Boy would move himself through up into P5. So well done there to him with the huge damage he just got on the front of the car, making it look like nothing here at this point. Really impressive, I've got to say. Charlie Goff now looking on the back of Aussie here down the start finish straight. Is he going to make the move coming into Abbey? I think he might be able to here. Aussie's going to keep it around the outside and actually is just going to stay ahead of Charlie. Charlie on almost on the 2 wheels there as he came through Abbey, but tucks in for the time being anyway. But currently Part Pooper leading by just over a second right now ahead of Cobb. There's Big Blue running in 3rd place. He's just over a second ahead of Smokey right now. John Boy there running in P5 with Aussie and Charlie very close on the back of him still as they're coming out onto the Wellington Straight here for the 8th time in this race. Got to keep it out of battle at the front because currently Cobb is really piling this pressure right now on Part Pooper. Part Pooper's been leading the race now for quite a few laps, obviously since the collision with John Boy and Ollie, where the two leaders came together on the exit of Cobb's corner, and since then he's had the advantage, but Cobb has been reeling that gap down lap after lap after lap, and I'd say on this lap so far he's been at least a second quicker. On the previous lap he was 1.1 seconds quicker, so Cobb definitely showing that he's got the momentum here to take the lead, but can he find a place on the track to make that move? In the background there's Big Blue and Smokey battling it over 3rd and 4th places. John Boy keeping ahead of Charlie just about with that damage on the front of his car though. How's he going to be able to keep Charlie behind him front of the lap with that sort of damage? Part Pooper and Cobb there going into Vale. Big Blue still just ahead of Smokey at this point. John Boy holding on ahead of Charlie Goff. These are the battles right now. Ollie has got ahead of Aussie up into 7th place. I think he's made that move somewhere. But Part Pooper and Cobb, the two leaders, coming into Abbey for the final time in this first race of the night. Where is Cobb going to be able to make this move? Surely Cobb's going to be fancying his chances here. It could be a great opportunity, but Park Hooper, I don't think has taken a win for quite a few months now, so it would be a fantastic opportunity for him. And obviously he's been leading this race now for quite a few laps, so he'll feel like he's got a lot to lose right now. But all he needs to do is park his car in all the right places, and he should be able to hold on for what would be a fantastic race victory here. As into Brooklands we come for the final time. Big Blue still defending from Smokey he looked like he was a bit on the curve there, looked like he was a bit hesitant going into Brooklands. But all the other battles seem to be settling down. This is it then. This is for the lead. This is for all the marbles. Half a lap left to go here as they come through Woodcote. It's still Park Hooper with the ascendancy, but Cobb within half a second here. But the gap hasn't really come down anymore since the beginning of this lap. So it's looking like Park Hooper's just found a little bit more stability here, found some consistency, and is able to match Cobb at this stage. There's Big Blue and Smokey who are running in third and fourth. John Boy and Charlie still going there in the background right now, but down towards Maggots and Beckett's for the final time. Park Hooper may have this under control, just about. Cobb's going to throw the kitchen sink at him, you feel. Can Cobb get a good run coming out of Chapel Curve? If he can, he'll have a chance down the hanger straight into Stowe Corner. Otherwise, I think that Park Hooper should be able to see this one out. What sort of exit has Cobb got here coming out of Chapel? He's got a decent run. Quite a good run, in fact. He's now got the slipstream here. Park Hooper weaving around, trying to break the toe a little bit. Cobb, look at him. You can see he's getting all over him as Big Blue and John Boy in the background there. No, sorry, Big Blue and Smokey in the background. Losing out to John Boy and Charlie. Those two having a bit of a collision there coming out of Chapel. Not sure what happened there. Park Hooper getting a bit sideways there. And Cobb's going to seize on that, and Cobb's going to make the move for the lead here. Has Cobb got it done? He has. Cobb here making a move with just 3 corners left to go. Park Hooper looking to the outside here. Can Park Hooper come back at him, or has Cobb wrestled the win away from the clutches of Park Hooper X? I think Cobb has done it. Coming through Club Corner, he goes a little bit wide there. Park Hooper back down the inside for Club Corner. Here we go. Park Hooper has done it. Park Hooper's going to take the win here in the first race of the night. Great driving from Park Hooper X to steal it back off of Cobb. Park Hooper takes the win. Cobb second with John Boy. Is he gonna hold on here? Charlie looking to his outside. Charlie gets him. So Charlie comes over to mug John Boy on the line. Charlie third, John Boy fourth, Big Blue over in fifth, ahead of Smokey, who takes P6 here. Ollie Marr's going to take 7th place in this one, ahead of Ozzy, who takes 8th. And Doris Steer is coming through Vale for the final time to take 9th place here in this first race of the night. But what a finish that was between Park Hooper and Cobb. That went all the way down to the final corner. Cobb looked like he'd got the move done on Park Hooper coming out of Stowe, and then he went into Vale. Cobb went a little bit too deep in the first part of Club, and through the second part, Park Hooper had the run, had the momentum, and was able to take the victory in the final few meters there. Park Hooper, your race 1 winner tonight here at Silverstone. Cobb second, Charlie Goff completing the podium. Guys, we'll be back very shortly for the second race. What a cracker that was. There you go then, everybody. That's the qualifying session for the second race of the night. So that's Cobb taking the fastest time. We'll be starting on pole for this middle race. Obviously the qualifying for the middle race, the only qualifying session of the night. The other two both practices, because first race and the third race are both reverse grids. So Cobb and Ollie will be on the front row, John Boy and Smokey on a second row, with Big Blue and Charlie Goff 5th and 6th, followed by Ozzy and Doris Steer and Park will be rounding out the pack in P9. Quickly before we go for the second race, I'm going to read the championship standings after the first race of the night. So Ollie Marr now leads on a 442 points. He's 22 points clear of Mike, who now has a drop, who will have a drop round in hand after tonight. So we'll know for sure what the situation is after this. John Boy sits in third, 352 points, so he's 90 points clear, 90 points behind, sorry, of Ollie, the championship leader. You've got Cobb in fourth on 300 points, with Smokey now fifth, moves up 2 places ahead of Jay and Ozzy, now on 278 points. Jay sits sixth on 268 points, with Ozzy in seventh on 266. Charlie Goff 8th on 264 points, moves ahead of Nick, who goes down to 9th on 258 points. Bart Pooper still 10th on 232 points. Diabetic Lamb in 11th on 190 points, followed by Doris Steer 12th on 124. Then we've got Big Blue 13th on 110 points, and he's 4 points clear of Iceman, who he moves above. Iceman now 14th on 106 points. Gary 15th on 66. Amos Kill 16th on 64 points. RJ Dale 17th on 52. Mutts Nuts in 18th on 36 points, followed by Totally Zero, who sits 19th on 36. And Revolt Detailer still at the foot in 20th on 16 points. But here we go. We're syncing up now and getting ready to go for the second race of the night, guys, at Silverstone for the Clio Cup. Lights out and away we go. Only standing start of the night. Flash the lights there from Cobb as we get off the line. Or was it maybe Ollie actually? Not sure, but we're coming down towards Abbey for the first time. It was Ollie who flashed his lights, but Ollie down the inside here coming into turn 1, and I think that's going to be job done here for Ollie. So he managed to get a slightly better start there than Cobb, but Cobb's got a tighter radius here coming through the village. As we come now through this section of the track, you can see that Ollie and Cobb side by side. Ollie down the inside gets the move done, but Cobb will have the inside for the loop, and they're still side by side here. Ollie's going to get the longer run there and gets pushed out a little bit. Cobb there back up into the lead as John Boy now looking to the inside of Ollie as well, as they come through out of the loop and out onto the one into the straight for the first time. It's Cobb from Ollie, with John Boy there in third place. You've got Big Blue on the back of John Boy, with Smokey, Charlie, Part Pooper, Doris Steer and Ozzy at the back of the pack, as Ollie now attacking to the inside of Cobb, coming down towards Brooklands, and is he going to be able to make this move? Ollie's down the inside here, but Cobb's going to try and go for a cut back because Ollie went slightly deep. Ollie goes wide there onto the runoff a little bit. Cobb back around the outside for Luffield. Ollie's trying to keep himself on the inside. In the background, John Boy's lost out to Big Blue. Big Blue up into third place, but John Boy having a tighter line there through Luffield. In the background, there's a bit of contact there between Smokey and Charlie, I think it was. Charlie dropping down the order like a stone here, already down to 9th place here. He's lost out to Ozzy, I think, as well. But Ollie here down the inside of Cobb, coming down towards Cobb's corner. Who's going to back out of this one? These two have been side by side for the duration of this race so far. Ollie gets the move done up into the lead. Cobb has to tuck in the background as John Boy now attacking on the back of Cobb, coming down towards Maggis and Beckett's, but it's Ollie from Cobb from John Boy. Big Blue the top 4. The top 4 separated by half a second right now as they come through Maggots, but currently it's Ollie with the ascendancy just about at the moment, as he goes a little bit deep there going through Beckett's, and that's going to give Cobb a run. And Ollie's going to lose out, I think, here to Cobb. Cobb now leads the race coming out of Chapel Curve. So Ollie there making a small mistake. John Boy couldn't capitalise and has to tuck in for the time being. But Ollie there getting a horrible run coming through Beckett's. But now it's Cobb, Ollie, John Boy, Big Blue, the top 4. And they're about a second clear of Smokey, who's running in P5. Part Pooper is making a move down the inside of Charlie here into Stowe Corner. And he's going to get that one done there, I think, is Part Pooper X. Charlie, though, keeping down the outside actually into Stowe Corner. Does he go deep? No, he doesn't. He keeps onto the move and does it really nicely there. Part Pooper now coming under pressure from Ozzy as they come out of Stowe Corner, but it's Cobb ahead of John Boy, who's looking to the outside. He's now made the move on Ollie here, so Ollie down to third place. Now John Boy looking to try and attack on the back of Cobb here as they come through Vale into Club. Now we go. John Boy's got Ollie looking to his outside here on the exit of Club, and Ollie's going to have a better run coming down the start finish straight, and I reckon that Ollie's going to get John Boy here over the start finish line and should be ahead of him into Abbey. Big Blue now looking to try and follow Ollie through, but he's going to have nowhere to go here. He's still going to get ahead of John Boy though, up into third place. So Ollie and Big Blue up to position each. John Boy there down 2 places. Smoky Devil on the back of John Boy here as they come through Village, but it's Cobb leading ahead of Ollie, and there is the battle there between Big Blue, John Boy and Smokey, as Part Pooper there getting it a bit sideways there coming through Village. Ozzy now looking to the outside. He's going to have the inside here for the loop. Ozzy, I'll be back down the inside of Part Pooper up into 7th place. Doris Deer seems to have had a nightmare of a start to this second race of the night. He's running well off at the back of the pack right now in 9th place. He's 7 seconds off for the lead, but currently Cobb and Ollie here tied at the hip right now as they come down towards Brooklands for the second time in this race. It's a long lap here around Silverstone in the Clios. It feels like we've done more than one lap, but we've only just done 1 and a bit laps so far. Really is a very long lap in these cars, but Ollie a bit wide there going through Luffield. Does he keep ahead of Big Blue? Yes, he does, and is able to just keep onto his line there as they come through this section of the track. You've got Smokey with Charlie hassling the back of him though as they're going through Woodcote. Aussie, Albie and Park Poop are still running quite close here as they come out onto the old pit straight, but Cobb here trying to extend his gap over Ollie at the moment. Ollie, as I said before, the new championship leader after the first race of the night. With the absence of Mike tonight, it's really a good opportunity for him to try and gain a load of points. But here we come down towards Maggots and Beckett's once again here, and Cobb still leading ahead of Ollie, but good little battle between the top 4 at this point as they're keeping Smokey. Well, actually Smokey's gained a little bit on them actually. Smokey and Charlie have both gained on the top 4 a little bit. Could become a 6-way fight for the lead quite surely, because these 4 should I say, do seem to be slowing each other down. It's allowing these 2 in the background to close in, but Big Blue there getting a bit of a shaky run coming out of Chapel Curve, and John Boy here is going to make the move up into 3rd place into Stowe Corner. So John Boy now up a place. Big Blue there is still ahead of Smokey and Charlie for the time being, but Cobb and Ollie still 1 and 2 in this race. As Big Blue there a bit wide going through Stowe, keeps ahead of Smokey just about though. Bit of a close call there for Big Blue as they come into Vale. He's still just ahead for the time being though. Aussie and Park Pooper there in the background running into 7th and 8th places at the moment, but it's Cobb still leading ahead of Ollie as they come out onto the start finish straight once again here to complete lap 2 of this second race of the night. Aussie and Park Pooper side by side as Aussie trying to go around the outside of Park Pooper here coming through turn 1. Can he keep himself there? Park Pooper's just got the momentum coming down towards Village. Aussie a bit sideways there, but Park Pooper gets the move done up into 7th place. Good move there from Park Pooper Rex. Obviously the race 1 winner, let's not forget tonight. But so far this second race has not gone the same way, as Aussie looking back around the outside of Park Pooper coming through the loop. And Aussie there has managed to keep the momentum really nicely there, coming out onto the Wellington Straight, and is back up into 7th place here. These 2 are still side by side coming down towards Brooklands, keeping an eye on the battle at the front, which is still raging on between Cobb and Ollie. Those guys in battling over the podium spots still close as Park Pooper back down the inside into Brooklands here on Aussie. Aussie round the outside. Does he get it turned in for Luffield? He does so nicely there. Aussie keeping on to the position, and that is job done there for Aussie. Albie now up into 7th place. Well done there from him. Cobb though still ahead of Ollie as they're coming down the old start finish straight. John Boy's within half a second. These 3 have now broken away a little bit from Big Blue and Charlie, who are still going in 4th place and 4th and 5th places right now. Smoking on the back of those 2 as well, with Park Pooper and Aussie still going at it for 7th and 8th places here. Doris Steer a few seconds behind that battle in 9th place currently. But what a fight this is out the front. We've got Ravi in the comments. Raven Maestro, Andy, what's up? How you all been doing? Good to see you. Yeah, not been bad. Yeah, same old really. Just doing the same old shit, if I'm honest. Emma says, good luck guys. Missed most of the first race, so looking forward to the next 2. Oh yeah, it's been great racing so far, Emma, I'll tell you that. We've got Big Blue just ahead of Charlie and Smokey here in towards Stowe Corner. But no changes just there between those guys at this point. But yeah, been an interesting night here, to say the least. As we can see, we've got Big Blue there just trying to keep alongside Smokey. Smokey will have the inside for Club, and just edges him out as Big Blue wide there onto the runoff area. Smokey and Big Blue are side by side here coming out onto the start finish straight. You can see there Big Blue just trying to keep himself there around the outside. Smokey down the inside, bit of contact there between the 2 of them coming into turn 1. Smokey getting back up into 5th place there by the skin of his teeth. Cobb and Ollie side by side for the lead of the race, and Ollie there down the inside into Village, gets himself up into the lead. Beautifully done there from Ollie. And he leads the race once again. John Boy there wide onto the grass coming out of the loop, or coming through the loop should I say. But it's Ollie still ahead of Cobb, so Ollie there making a move up into the lead of the race. Charlie in the background ahead of Smokey and Big Blue, but they're coming down towards Brooklands once again for the 4th time in this race. You can See Charlie there having to defend from Smokey and Big Blue, but he's far enough ahead to not have to worry about their pursuit too much. Looks pretty safe to me at this point. Back to the battle for the lead though, as the top three coming out onto the national pit straight once again. Oh, it's in the background. Big Blue there getting very wide going out of Cop's corner. Still right behind Charlie and Smokey though. Ollie just ahead of Cobb and John Boy here as these guys going through Beckett's at this point. But Ollie Marr with the lead of the race. We're nearing the halfway point in race 2 here for the Clio Cup tonight. In the background you can see Charlie still just ahead of Smokey and Big Blue as they're still going down the hanger straight. Park Pooper has had a nightmare in the last couple of laps. What's happened to him? He's down. He's now battling with Doris Deer for 8th place, so he's had some kind of incident here. He was battling with Ozzy when we last saw him a few laps ago. Leaders coming down towards Vale once again. It's still Ollie from Cobb and John Boy. These three tied at the hip, half a second between them. Charlie and Smokey have just broken away from Big Blue a little bit. Big Blue's dropped off of them ever so slightly here over the last couple of laps. But here come the top three over the line here to start lap 5. As Cobby looking to the inside, but John Boy trying everything he can to move ahead of Cobby as he looks down the inside here, going into the loop, and John Boy there gets himself into 2nd place. So John Boy there moving through now onto the back of Ollie Marr. So Ollie Marr's going to now have to watch out for a different opponent, not somebody in the same livery as him this time. He's got John Boy now hounding and hassling him here coming down the Wellington straight. But Ollie's far enough ahead into Brooklands to not be too much of a threat here from John Boy. John Boy nonetheless throwing a feint to the inside there, going into Brooklands, but he's never going to make that one in a month of Sundays. But it's put Ollie off a little bit there, because Ollie was onto the grass a little bit there on the exit of Brooklands, going into Luffield, was a little bit offline, but turns it in nonetheless and gets it nicely through. But just a bit of a moment there for Ollie as they come through Woodcote and back out onto the national pit straight once again here. Oh, Charlie there, wide. Very wide there going out of Beckett. It's onto the grass a little bit. Smokey might be able to fancy his chances. No, he's not going to be able to at this point. As John Boy now looking to the inside of Ollie here coming into Stowe corner. So this is a move for the lead here for John Boy. As down the inside he goes. And John Boy there is surely going to take the lead coming out of Stowe corner. They're side by side here, John Boy and Ollie. Down towards Vale we come once again. Ollie just squeezing ahead here. Coming down towards the braking zone on the inside. John Boy trying to keep it all the way around the outside. We'll have the inside here for Club. John Boy retaking the lead here on Ollie. Great racing from these guys as they're now coming into Club corner. As now Cobb looking down the inside of Ollie as well. Ollie going for a cutback here, trying to squeeze through the gap. Now looking back to the inside of John Boy. Ollie somehow managing to keep his momentum there. How did he do that? Coming out onto the start finish straight. Down the inside he goes into Abbey. And Ollie back into the lead once again. John Boy very wide there. Onto the grass a little bit on his way onto the track. Cobb now looking on the back of John Boy, but John Boy will hold on into Village. But incredible racing there, and Ollie takes the lead once again here in this second race of the night. What a great battle these three are having. Is it going to affect them though? Because Charlie and Smokey are not too far behind, only 3 seconds off of this battle. So these guys need to be conscious of that. They're not miles ahead of everybody else. But coming out onto the Wellington straight here for the 6th time in this race is still Ollie from John Boy and Cobb. Big Blue is in the pits here at the end of lap 5, so he's clearly had some kind of incident here which has caused him a bit of damage on the car. So he's had a bit of a moment there. Not quite sure what's going on there. Into Luffield we go once again. Charlie still just ahead of Smoking about for 4th and 5th places. There's that battle for the lead, that three-way fight between Ollie, John Boy and Cobb. As we're back through Woodcote once again here. Who is going to take this win out of these three? It could be any one of these three. Roller, toss a coin. Well, it can't be toss of a coin because there's three of them. But roll a dice. 1 to 2 is Ollie. 3 to 4 is John Boy. 5 to 6 is Cobb. That'll tell you who's going to be the winner of this race. But right now, it could be any of them. Although Cobb just seems to have dropped off of them ever so slightly here over the course of this lap. John Boy's almost pushing Ollie here as they come out to the hanger straight. As Ollie's now having to defend very early. But John Boy's going to look to try and go for that gap on the inside. Now Ollie covers it off. John Boy looking to the outside. Now Ollie squeezes into the edge of the track there. Ollie a little bit naughty there. A bit of excessive weaving, I've got to say. Now contact between the two of them coming through Stowe corner. John Boy pushed a little bit wide. Cobb might try and capitalise on this and look to the outside here. Are we going to be 3 wide here coming down towards Vale? No, we're not, because Ollie managed to get a good run. John Boy is going to have Cobb looking to his outside here into Vale. But Cobb has to tuck in for the time being. He's not got enough of a run, and it's still Ollie from John Boy from Cobb as these three continue to battle it out, and they're still pulling away from Charlie and Smokey despite giving each other a little bit of hell here out the front. Coming over the line here to start lap 7. 2 laps left to go here at Silverstone. And what a fight this is between these guys. Big Blue stood in the pits. I don't think he's going to be re-emerging from the pits before we get to the end of this race. It looks like he's thrown in the towel here. Aussie, Park Pooper and Doris Steer battling out over 6th, 7th and 8th places. Park Pooper looking to the inside here of Aussie in towards Abbey. Is this going to be job done here for Park Pooper? It is. Park Pooper makes the move there up the inside. Aussie's still keeping it in there himself there though. Through turn 2 they go. Almost a bit of contact there between the two of them. Park Pooper have the inside. Aussie slightly ahead, but Park Pooper goes later on the brakes and gets it done. Can Ollie go? Aussie, sorry, go for a cutback here? No, he can't. Park Pooper job done there up into P6. Good move there from him as he goes a little bit wide though, coming through the loop, but still gets it turned nonetheless. Park Pooper keeping on to that 6th spot by the skin of his teeth there. Aussie's now got to watch out because Doris Steers on the back of him here as they're coming out onto the Wellington straight. You can see they've both got to run here on Park Pooper as they come down towards Brooklands here. And here goes Aussie looking to the inside, pulling out the slipstream here. Down the inside into Brooklands we go. Aussie Albie here is going to make the move into 6th place. And he gets it done. Oh, it's Park Pooper out to the inside into Luffield. Ah, Park Pooper sends it there on the brakes. Beautifully done there from him. Doris in the background just watching this unfold in front of him. But Park Pooper there back up into 6th place. As they come down the national pit straight once again here. Aussie now looking to the outside of Park Pooper going through Cobb's corner. In the meantime, Big Blue still in the pits right now, but Park Pooper just ahead of Aussie and Doris as they come down towards Maggis and Beckett's here for the 7th time in this race. Still Park Pooper ahead of Aussie and Doris here, but great battle between these guys, and the battle at the front still continuing on as well between Ollie, John Boy and Cobb. This one set to go down to the wire. They're about to start their final lap of the race. Park Pooper, Aussie and Doris giving each other a great show here as we're coming towards the closing stages of this second race of the night. Obviously we've got the finale, the final race to come after this, the reverse grid, based on the results from this race. But Aussie here looking down the inside of Park Pooper here coming into Stowe corner. Park Pooper a little bit wide. Aussie's going to get a decent enough exit here as they come down towards Vale. Park Pooper with the inside line covered off. DJ Phil jumping in the session for this. Hopefully DJ Phil can race the final race of the night. It'd be good to have him on track because it's been a long time since we've seen DJ Phil out on track for the Clios here at Motive. But here we come nonetheless. Through club corner we go. Doris to keeping it around the outside of Aussie. But Doris getting the run there. Ollie in the meantime. And John Boy side by side here coming in towards the loop. Ollie trying to keep it around the outside of John Boy. John Boy there's got the move done up into the lead. So Ollie here has led the race for the last few laps, but he's now lost it here with a lap to go, or just under a lap to go here at Silverstone for the second race of the night. And John Boy seems to have seized the initiative here as they now come down towards Brooklands. Now John Boy's going to have to defend. Ollie goes to the inside. He's going to go for the tiniest little gap there on the inside as Ollie goes late on the brakes. John Boy is going to go for the cutback here, but is he going to get it? Ollie seems to have got his braking point absolutely perfect there going into Brooklands. Through Luffield we go. A bit of a tap there in the rear onto Ollie from John Boy, but Ollie gets the move done and has got the lead once again here. Great battle from these guys. Ollie Moss seems to have just held on here by the skin of his teeth. He lost out to John Boy going into the loop, but he's got back ahead of him coming through Brooklands. And as they come down towards Cop's corner now, John Boy looking to the inside here. Is he going to go for a Hamilton style manoeuvre here on Verstappen? He's going to look to the inside, but Ollie keeps it around the outside, goes a little bit wide though coming through Cops. That will compromise this run coming down towards Maggots and Beckett. Says John Boy now has got a heck of a run to the outside. They're going to be side by side here. Through Maggots we go. And John Boy here's got it done coming through Maggots and Beckett's. But he gets a little bit sideways there. Did he get a bit of a tap there from Ollie? He might have got a bit of a tap there. But Ollie tucks in for the time being. Now surely Ollie's going to be thinking about the exit out of Chapel, which could set him up down the Hangar Straight. Cobb seems to have dropped off of these guys a little bit coming out onto the Hangar Straight. But here we go for the final time in race 2. It's side by side here between John Boy and Ollie. We know what sort of straight line speed Ollie's got in his Clio. That number 28, he always sets it up for low downforce. Looking to the outside now is Ollie. John Boy covering that inside line off into Stowe corner. Who's going to be bravest here coming through the final part of the lap? Ollie holding it around the outside and managing to wring the neck of it brilliantly there. Down towards Vale we go. Ollie seems to have got it back, but John Boy doing a little fade to the inside. Ollie goes to cover it off. Here we come. John Boy nowhere to go. Ollie's got every eventuality got everything just sorted out here as he come through club corner. I think Ollie's just going to hold on here. He should be able to hold on. Ollie's going to do it up towards the line. Ollie Moore, your race 2 winner. John Boy really fighting it for everything he had there. Ollie, John Boy and Cobb, what a show these three put on. Charlie comes over to take 4th place ahead of Smokey, who comes over in P5. Park Pooper is going to come out of the final corner to take 6th place here in his 2nd race of the night ahead of Thorister, who will bring it home in 7th. Aussie Albie over to finish this one in 8th place. Big Blue retired from the race a little way out, but what a race that was there. Ladies and gentlemen, Ollie, John Boy and Cobb there taking the podium places here tonight. And yeah, everybody else just a little bit detached, but great fight out the front between Ollie, John Boy and Cobb. And guys, we'll be back very shortly for the final race of the night. It'll be a reverse grid based on the results from race 2. But yeah, to the drivers watching this back, guys, please share it with your friends, family members and otherwise associates, because that was an absolute cracker. But yeah, final race coming up very shortly. Yeah, I know. He's jumping in now. He's commenting on the YouTube stream. He said he'd jump in for the final race. Yeah, but the thing is, like, she just distracts me, and then it doesn't sound as authentic. It can't be fun watching it. Can't be fun watching it back though, because it can't sound professional though. Like, you want to feel like you're watching a proper race, and you can just hear. She does love you, Big Blue, to be fair. She always loves you. Whenever she sees your name, she goes, Big, Big! I don't think he'd mind, to be honest. He'd probably be relieved. Thank fuck for that, he'd probably think. Hey, you've got two of them jumping in. Hey. Right. You guys can start at the front. So it'll be DJ Phil P1, Mutts Nuts P2, Big Blue P3, Aussie P4, Thoris P5, Pop Pooper P6, Smokey P7, Charlie P8, Cobb P9, John Boy P10, Ollie P11. Alright. Excuse me. I do apologise. Yes. Yeah, Ollie's P11, you're P10. Did I say? I don't know. Something like that. Do you want to start at the back, Marts? Okay, right, let's redo it then. Alright, so it'll be DJ Phil P1, Big Blue P2, Aussie P3, Thoris P4, Pop Pooper P5, Smokey P6, Charlie P7, Cobb P8, John Boy is now P9, Ollie is now P10, and it'll be Mutts in P11. Rightio. Oh wait, hold on, Thoris is gone, one sec. Is he joining back? Was that intentional or was that accidental? Yeah, he's still online, he's still online. Yeah, finally back in your actual livery that you picked for the championship. Let's get on. Here we are then, guys. We are here for the final race of the night here for the Clio Cup, round 6 of 8 for season 14. Obviously tonight was races 16, 17 and 18 of a 24 race season. This one race 18, and it'll be the reverse grid, obviously based on the results from race 2, which we had a few moments ago. We've got a newcomer jumping in here tonight. We've got 2 newcomers actually. DJ Phil jumping in as a reserve because his other race that he was doing in another league ended, and same with the Nuts as well. I think he was racing on F1, and he's jumped in for the final race too. Both of these guys veterans of Motive, both trusted drivers. We know who they are, and they're more than welcome to jump in at late notice, as we know they'll be clean and we know that they won't cause any problems. But 11 cars currently out on the track here for this final race of the night. We had 12 drivers turn up tonight. Unfortunately, we couldn't get all 12 on the track at the same time. But nonetheless, as we see Charlie Goff there losing it coming out of Chapel. But yeah, nonetheless, it should be a good night, a good race here to close the night off here at Silverstone. A bit of a strange track, it must be said, to run the Clios on. I don't really fully know what I was thinking when I picked Silverstone GP as a circuit to do in the Clios. I mean, you look at the track and you look at the cars and you think, you know, what was going on? What's going on? What's wrong with him? And you know, I can't really give you an answer on that. It's complicated. But anyway, DJ Phil here coming in towards Vale, so we're about to get going here for the final time tonight, and he's actually coming into the pit, so he must have jumped the start. It appears that he's doing a drive-through, so DJ Phil here will be doing that drive-through now, and the rest of them are going to come through Vale and start the race. Are the others going to hold up, maybe wait for DJ Phil to do his drive-through? I know we've seen this happen a few times where the guys, we've got a very respectful bunch here, very sportsman-like. Everybody sort of communicates through the game chat, and any messages, impromptu kind of hold-ups generally get passed through the game chat. So let's see where DJ Phil's going to come out in relation to all these others here. Looks like he's just coming over the start-finish line, so he's not going to figure once he comes out in any sort of battles. But it's Big Blue leading ahead of Aussie. Doris there running in third with Park Pooper looking on the back of him into the village. Is Park Pooper going to make this move here? He is going to make the move. Park Pooper down the inside. In the background there, somebody was sideways. That looked like it was either Aussie or John Boy there. I think it was John Boy who was sideways going into village, but he seems to have held on to it. He's only lost a couple of places there. But Park Pooper having to tuck in behind Doris there for the time being as we come out onto the Wellington Straight for the first time. But it's Big Blue leading the race ahead of Aussie, followed by Doris D. You've got Park Pooper there in fourth, ahead of Smokey, followed by Cobb, and then you've got Ollie, John Boy, the Mutts Nuts with Charlie Goff, and DJ Phil just coming out of the pits now after serving his early drive-through penalty, and is running in 11th place here in the early stage of this race. But Big Blue there leading ahead of Aussie as they come through Luffield here for the first time at racing speeds in this final race of the night. Currently John Boy knocking on the door of Ollie at the moment. But I didn't get a chance to read out the championship standings after race 2. Essentially, Ollie now has a 56-point lead over Mike, but obviously with drop rounds coming into play, Mike will be dropping no points now this season, whereas Ollie will be dropping quite a few. So it could play a massive hand in Mike being able to come back at Ollie by the time we get to the end of this season. I will be factoring in drop rounds from tonight onwards, so there'll be a bit more of a delay at the end of the stream tonight, because I will just be taking a second or maybe about a minute longer to work out the drop rounds on a piece of paper. So it won't all be in terms of the actual standings themselves. I'll actually be reading out the drop scores as well, which will be an alternative to what you see, or rather what I've got in front of me, because I'll be working those out manually. I have no way of doing it. I have no way of dropping. I don't know how to do it. I'm not very good at spreadsheets. But Doris in nonetheless down the inside of Aussie into Stowe corner, and it's going to make that move there. Is Doris up into second place as Aussie there a bit onto the grass going through Stowe, but keeping himself in there at the moment. But Big Blue currently ahead of Doris with Aussie and Park Pooper right there. There's Smokey running in fifth ahead of Cobb, as Cobb is running ahead of Ollie. Ollie's got ahead of John Boy up into 7th, so or was he already ahead of him? I'm not sure. I think those two might have traded places there, I'm not quite sure. Mutts Nuts just behind them, running in 9th place there in his trademark number 63. But currently Big Blue, Doris, Aussie, Park Pooper, your top 4. There's Smokey and Cobb, and there's the rest of them all going through Abbey here for the 3rd time in this final race of the night. Guys, if you haven't already, please do smash the like button and show your appreciation for the drivers out on track as they're putting on a great show. Aussie there down the inside of Doris, going through Village. As he got the move done, Doris is trying to come back at him here, coming into Aintree. But Aussie there keeping ahead of him at the moment. Park Pooper almost tapping Doris in the rear there as they come through the loop and out onto the Wellington Straight once again here. Good battles here between these lads. Great racing here. Park Pooper back down the inside. Doris into Brooklands, and he's going to get that one done. So Park Pooper going to complete that one. But Doris back down the inside into Luffield. Park Pooper gets it done. Late enough on the brakes there to keep it around the outside. Park Pooper wrecks there into third place. Gets a good exit there out of Luffield as well, which will keep him in good stead here, coming down the old pit straight. But Doris there ahead of Smokey with Cobb, Ollie, John Boy, the Mutts Nuts. The lead pack of 9 cars separated by 4 seconds right now, being headed by this man Big Blue. And there's Charlie Goff running in P10. He's currently 10 seconds off the lead. So it's been a horror show of a start to the race for Charlie Goff in this final race of the night. DJ Phil running in 11th place, having come in for an early drive-through penalty. That's John Boy looking to the outside of Ollie, and he's going to get this move done into Beckett's, I think. Squeezing through. Ollie trying to keep the momentum there into Chapel. Ollie gets it back ahead of John Boy there on the exit of Chapel down the hanger straight. So Ollie there keeping on to 7th place by the skin of his teeth. John Boy's trying everything he can. Aussie looking down the inside of Park Pooper into Stowe corner, and he's going to get that one done again. So these two trading places once again. Park Pooper a little bit wide going through Stowe. Is that going to invite Smokey Devil in? No, it's not. Smokey Devil still has to wait and watch for his opportunity here, as Doris is trying to attack on the back of Cobb. Cobb's got ahead of Doris actually, so Cobb's into 5th. Ollie and John Boy side by side, still these two battling, still trying to cut their way through the pack, but they've got a load of cars in front of them who are not willing to surrender their positions with this reverse grid format, really playing a mix-up in terms of the pecking order here in this final race of the night. But Park Pooper there's just trying to attack on the back of Aussie and Smokey. Big Blue has almost opened up a 2-second gap here, so Big Blue seizing his opportunity here. Could Big Blue maybe be sensing an opportunity to take a race victory here in this final race of the night? What a great thing that would be for him. Obviously it'd be his first win of the season. He has taken, I think, a couple of wins here at Motive, but not for a couple of seasons. So yeah, it would be a really great performance from Big Blue if he can get a win on the board here tonight. He's currently got the gap here to Aussie Albie at just over 2 seconds, and he's building it up more and more. And obviously while he's got clean air, he'll be wanting to capitalise on this opportunity. Park Pooper here looking to the inside now on Smokey into Brooklands, but Smokey going late enough on the brakes, keeps it around the outside there. Mutts Nuts there around the outside of Ollie. Mutts Nuts has got ahead of Ollie and John Boy and Thorist. So what's happened to Ollie and John Boy? Have those two come together? Nonetheless, the Mutts Nuts there up into P6, seizing on whatever's happened in front of him there. So Mutts Nuts there wasting no time in getting himself up a few positions. Big Blue's got a 2-second gap to Aussie. Smokey, Park Pooper, Cobb, Mutts Nuts, Ollie, Thorist and John Boy. These 8 separated by 2 seconds right now from 2nd down to 9th place. Big Blue though is clearing off into the sunset at this point, looking really good for his money in the early stages. Well, not really early now, we're kind of coming towards the halfway point in the final race of the night already here. Park Pooper has been passed by Cobb. Cobb up another position, up into 4th place. Cobb has made the most seamless progress, you've got to say, of the drivers who started nearish to the back. He's up about 4 or 5 places from where he started. Ollie and John Boy still pretty much where they started. John Boy running in 9th. Ollie's up a couple of places, but not many. He's still stuck behind the likes of Park Pooper and the Mutts Nuts. Cobb trying to knock on the door of Aussie and Smokey here, but still no dice at the moment. Big Blue. His gap to Aussie's come down a little bit, coming through the middle sector here. Down towards Vale we go. There's the battle for the podium places. Cobb here having to defend from Park Pooper. He's trying to come back at him into Vale, but Cobb has the line covered at the moment there in 4th place. Ollie trying to get around the outside of the Mutts Nuts here as they come out of Club Corner to complete lap 4 of the race. There is your lead pack. Well, there's your leader. There is the chasing pack. There's the peloton. Ollie's still on the back of the Mutts Nuts. Speaking of pelotons, shame we couldn't have Diabetic Lamb here tonight. Unfortunately, wasn't able to make it. I haven't heard from him actually, so I'm not sure where he is, which is a shame. Oh, is Smokey there a bit wide, and that gives Aussie Albie the position there. If you're wondering why I'm talking about Diabetic Lamb, it's because he's a cyclist. But the Mutts Nuts head down the inside of Pop Pooper losing a couple of places there. Smokey squeezes through. Ollie there down to 7th place and has lost out massively there. Sorry, Not Ollie, sorry. Park Pooper's lost out massively there. As Thoris there moves ahead of Park Pooper now. So Park Pooper down to 9th. Oh, you couldn't make that up. Park Pooper's had a horror show there. As Cobb down the inside of Smokey into Brooklands, and Cobb's got himself into the podium places. So great manoeuvre there from Cobb. Must not stay in the background in the sandwich there as he's got Ollie looking to his inside. John Boy sneaks around the outside of Ollie and is now looking to the outside of the Must Nuts as well, but he goes wide onto the gravel there. And Ollie's going to get John Boy here. Through Woodcut we go. Ollie back up into P6. John Boy there getting it a little bit wrong on the exit of Luffield. But there is the battle for second place, which is currently being fought out here by 8 drivers from 2nd all the way down to 9th. There's 2 seconds covering them, and the more that these 8 guys battle, the more it is allowing our race leader Big Blue to absolutely disappear here. Cobb now looking to try and get Aussie Albie here until Beckett's. Oh, in the background, Smokey there wide. Who was the other driver that was wide? It was Smokey and somebody else. Potentially Thoris, maybe? I don't know. I mean, they haven't lost out hugely as a result, though. They're still all there. Cobb has now got the move done on Aussie on the exit of Chapel. So Cobb up into 2nd place here as we come down the Hanger Straight. Ollie now looking to the inside of Aussie into Stowe Corner. Ollie's going to try and move himself through into the podium places. Oh, he's a bit of contact there, but they're rubbing doors. They're rubbing together there on the exit of Stowe Corner. Down towards Vale we go once again. Aussie on the inside here of Ollie. And he moves through. Oh, onto 2 wheels there for a second was Aussie. As they come through Club Corner. Gets a little bit onto the curb there. There's Aussie Albie. Ollie there on the inside. Squeezes through into the podium. Oh, and Smokey gets a tap in the rear there from John Boy. And both of them around. Oh, no. John Boy's going to have damage there. Smokey, I think, hit the wall as well. So they're both going to have damage there. And that's gone horribly wrong for both of them. Ollie's still just ahead of Aussie. But Cobb now trying to break away from this pack of cars behind him. These guys now battling over the final podium place. As we can see, Mutts Nuts looking inside. Oh, as Aussie gets it wrong. Sideways there. Mutts Nuts moves through up into 4th place. Aussie still just ahead of Park Pooper here, but Aussie's lost a couple of places there down to P5. Cobb, though, running in 2nd place, is chasing down the leader Big Blue. Big Blue's been just driving his own race out the front. He's had everything to himself, but now he's got a chaser behind him. He's got a hunter here trying to hunt him down. But with 4 laps left to go, has Cobb left it too late as the Mutts Nuts looking down the inside of Ollie into Brooklands. Aussie trying to keep ahead of Park Pooper. There's Thoris ahead of Smokey, followed by John Boy, as they're all filing through Brooklands right now. But this battle for second has kind of been carved into pieces here. Cobb's now got 2nd and is now chasing after the leader Big Blue. Ollie leads the chasing back here in 3rd place. Mutts Nuts is all over the back of him. These guys have actually gapped Aussie and Park Pooper and Thoris a little bit there, as that was a rather violent hiccup which I could not suppress. But currently it's Ollie, Mutts batting over 3rd and 4th places. Aussie, Park Pooper and Thoris here running pretty close for 5th, 6th and 7th as well. Smokey's got John Boy looking to his outside here into Maggots, and John Boy's going to get that one done there up into 8th. But obviously John Boy with that collision with Smokey, those two coming together on the exit of Club Corner, both losing a load of places. And John Boy, I think, was forced to do a sportsman-like thing and let Smokey back past. But nonetheless, Big Blue here, the race leader, coming into Stowe Corner. His gap to Cobb 2 seconds. There's Ollie in 3rd ahead of the Mutts Nuts, who are trying to chase down Cobb and Big Blue. Aussie down the inside of Park Pooper here into Stowe Corner. And that's job done there for Aussie. Now Park Pooper's going to try and get a run here, coming down towards Vale though, as they are side by side. Can Park Pooper get back around the outside of Aussie Albie here? Goes late on the brakes, does Park Pooper. Aussie sideways onto the curb there, gets onto 2 wheels. Thoris there getting it wrong in the background. Park Pooper holds on to 5th place there. Beautifully done there from Park Pooper. So the leaders come down the start-finish straight here to start lap 7. 3 laps left to go here tonight for the final race of the evening here for the Clio Cup for round 6 here of season 14 at Motive. And Big Blue currently has things under control, but just about always the Mutts Nuts there having to cut turns 1 and 2 there on the back of Ollie. Got it horribly wrong, took out one of the braking markers as well. His fellow racers will not thank him for that. Ollie and the Mutts Nuts still just over a second clear of Park Pooper and Aussie, who have got Thoris with them as well. Thoris driving a very strong race here in his final race of the night. Gap at the front between Big Blue and Cobb, just over 2 seconds. Last lap, Cobb only 3/10 quicker than Big Blue, so if Big Blue can keep up this sort of pace, he'll hold on. Ollie is actually closing in on Cobb now, so is the Mutts Nuts, so both Ollie and the Mutts Nuts coming for Cobb here. Cobb's got to watch out more in his mirrors than he has in front of him at this point. Saying that though, he's gained a bit of time on the race leader, the Big Blue, coming through the first sector here. The gap's down to 1.7 here as they come through Woodcote. Big Blue here coming down the old pit straight. Surely going to be thinking about breaking the slipstream here. Bit of a flash of the lights there from Big Blue. Clearly feeling the pressure a little bit. Showing a bit of bravado to the chasing pack behind him. Trying to maybe get into their heads a little bit. Cobb there a bit wide coming out of Cops. Ollie didn't get a great run. He's got the Muttnuts really close on him coming down towards Maggots and Beckett's. But Ollie just keeping ahead there. Going late enough on the brakes to keep it ahead of the Muttnuts. But this is going to be a battle that's going to go down to the wire, I think, for these podium places. Can these three bring themselves onto the back of Big Blue, the race leader, as down the hangar straight we come once again? What a race it's turned out to be. It's been an absolute classic here for the closer here tonight. As John Boy now looking to the inside of Doris, coming down to the end of the hangar straight, and John Boy's going to move himself through into 7th place. Now onto the back of his teammate Ozzy Albie. Ollie here still all over the back of Cobb coming into Vale. Muttnuts just tucking in for the time being. There's Part Pooper in the background. There's the rest of them coming through Vale. Smokey there, not too far off of them as well. 8 seconds covering the top 9 drivers here as Big Blue starts the penultimate lap of the race. Ozzy still defending from Doris there going into Village. These guys a couple of seconds clear of Smokey, running in 9th place at this point. Ollie here down the inside of Cobb into Brooklands. He's going to get that one done there, is Ollie. Beautiful move there. Muttnuts looking to try and capitalise here on the back of Cobb, but he has to tuck in for the time being. Harp over there running not too far behind these guys in 5th place. As we come now down the old pit straight once again. Cobb all over the back of Ollie. Muttnuts now looking to the inside of Cobb though, down towards Cobb's corner, didn't get enough of a run. Cobb had the slipstream off of Ollie, which was allowing him to pull away from Mutts down in a straight line. Ollie a bit wide there out of Cops, so was Part Pooper in the background, or the foreground really should I say. John Boy's starting to pull away from Ozzy and Doris. Ozzy and Doris still battling over 7th and 8th places though as they're coming down towards Maggots and Beckett's, but Doris having to tuck in behind Ozzy for the time being. These guys only 6 seconds off for the lead at this point. As Big Blue here coming out of Chapel Curve. His gap to Ollie's coming down. Ollie's now only 1.2 seconds behind Big Blue. Cobb obviously losing out to Ollie and the Muttnuts who are now running in 2nd and 3rd places, so Cobb was the chaser to Big Blue. He's now running in 4th place. Ollie now having to defend from the Muttnuts, who's looking to the outside. They're coming into Stowe corner. Mutts looking around the outside here. Can he get this one done? He's looking to try and get this one completed there. Muttnuts with a great manoeuvre there around the outside of Ollie. Ollie's going to have to look back to the outside here, coming down towards Vale. Muttnuts here parks his car on the inside. A bit of contact there, a bit of banging doors as they go through Vale. But Muttnuts there squeezes back through into 2nd place. Goes a little bit wide there as they come through Club. But Muttnuts there gets the move done up into 2nd place, and that could have just been the cork in the bottle there for Ollie, who was trying to chase down the race leader Big Blue. Cobb and Part Pooper are almost side by side. Part Pooper looking to try and get this move done on Cobb. Cobb positions his car in the right place there and keeps on to that one. No dice there for Part Pooper. Ollie now looking to the inside of Mutts. Oh, and that's a dirty move there, Ollie. Come on, mate. That's a little bit naughty. That was a bit ambitious there. Muttnuts there turned into the corner. Luckily no dramas, they carry on their way, but Ollie might lose out to Cobb here. Cobb looking to the inside here, coming through the loop. Ollie getting a decent enough run out of the loop though to hold on. Now Cobb might be vulnerable because he had to get out of it a little bit there. Part Pooper out to the outside. Part Pooper's going to get ahead of Cobb here down towards Brooklands. Can Part Pooper make it 2 moves in the space of a couple hundred metres here? No, he can't, because Ollie's got that move covered there into Brooklands. Big Blue leading through Luffield. There's Mutts, Ollie, Part Pooper and Cobb. John Boy there running in P6. Ozzy there just ahead of Doris. Big Blue here coming down the old pit straight for the final time in the final race of the night. And Big Blue here standing on the verge of taking a race victory. What a great result that is for him. Has driven superbly in this final race of the night. Has kept his cool, kept it together. Drove a pretty strong race too. And with the reverse grid format, obviously I say drove a strong race too until he had the damage which dropped him down the pack. But he had a strong opening to the race, and obviously with the reverse grid, it works an absolute treat for him. The Mutt Nuts there goes deep, going through Beckett's as he was trying to catch onto the back of Big Blue. And Ollie's going to swoop around the outside here with the Mutt Nuts, gets himself into second place, goes a bit wide onto the grass. Might get a bit of a compromise run here, coming down the hanger straight. Here goes Matt the Mutt Nuts once again, looking to try and get him here on the exit. Ollie here weaving all over the place. Mutt Nuts looking to the outside, but look at this, Park Hooper down the inside. He's going to try and make the move. Oh, and there's contact there between Park Hooper and the Mutt Nuts here, coming down towards Stowe corner as Ollie leaves the space on the outside there for the Mutt Nuts to look around him. Coming through Stowe, Mutt Nuts goes deep. Ollie should hold on here for second place, coming down towards Vale. Ollie Mask gonna just hold on as Park Hooper now looking to the inside here. Sorry, the outside here of Ollie. Mutt Nuts there down the inside. Oh, and he tags Ollie in the rear. Oh, this is so close, and Ollie's going to have the inside. Mutt Nuts is going to try and hold it on the outside of Club Corner as we complete the race. Big Blue, though, is going to take a fantastic victory in race 3 of the night, the final race of the night here at Silverstone. Ollie takes second, just holds on there. Mutt Nuts mugs Park Hooper on the line for third, with Cobb over in 5th behind them, ahead of John Boy in 6th. Aussie 7th, ahead of Doris Deer, who finishes the race in 8th place in the end. Smoky Devil is going to come over to take 9th place in this one. Not too far ahead of Charlie Goff, who will finish this one in P10. DJ Phil is going to come round. He's on the lead lap here, but Charlie Goff is going to come round to take 10th place here in this one. DJ Phil is just coming through Maggots and Beckett, so he'll be coming round very, very shortly. But Big Blue there, taking the win in the final race of the night. What a fantastic job from him in this final race. He kept his cool out the front, plumbed in the lap times, didn't get phased by the chasing pack getting closer and closer to him, just kept on putting in his consistent lap times, which were just enough to hold on to the victory. Well done, Big Blue. And what a battle there between Ollie and the Mutt Nuts as well, with Park Hooper Cobb putting on a great show. But Ollie once again getting on the podium here in the Clio Cup and extending his championship gap to Mike in Mike's absence tonight. Obviously Mike though will gain points in the drop rounds, which will come into play. And I'm going to work those out now. So, guys, we're going to do the championship standings. We're going to get everything up to date. And then we're going to read out the situation here as it is right now. What a race that was then. So, Big Blue P1, Ollie P2, Mutts P3. Need to make sure I'm filling in their teams as well. So Park Hooper P4, Cobb P5, John Boy P6, Aussie P7, Doris P8, Smoky P9, Charlie P10, DJ Phil P11, fastest lap was Mutts. Driver of the day, Big Blue. Right, there you have it then, guys. Oh, what's the problem? There we go then. Right, so Ollie now leads the championship. He's sat at the top of the standings on 506 points. He's 86 points ahead of Mike, who sits in second on 420. John Boy in third on 404 points. He's clear of Cobb, who sits in fourth on 352. Smoky Devil in fifth on 318 points, ahead of Charlie, who is in sixth on 304. With Aussie Albie 7th on 304 points as well. So Charlie and Aussie tied on points. And then you've got Park Hooper in 8th on 280 points, followed by Jay, who is 9th now on 268. He's 10 points clear of Nick the Villa, who sits in 10th on 258 points. Diabetic Lamb in 11th on 190 points now, with Doris Deer in 12th on 162, moves ahead of Big Blue into 12th, who's now in 13th on 158 points. Iceman 14th on 106 points, with Mutts Nuts in 15th on 66. Gary sits 16th on 66 ahead of Amos Kill 17th on 64. RJ Dale in 18th on 52 points, with Totally Zero 19th on 36. Revolt Detailer rounding out the order on 16 points. But crucially, drop rounds are going to play a huge factor in this. So essentially, I need to just get a pen and paper out and work it out. We'll do it afterwards. I haven't got time to do it now on the stream. Guys, I'm going to post it on the Discord. But yeah. That is that, guys. Thanks ever so much for tuning in, and also to the drivers watching this back. Please do share it with your friends, family members, and otherwise associates. And yeah, cheers everybody. Thanks again. Good night.